Artificial intelligence is something that Ambassador Jill already mentioned, but there's also nanotechnology, additive printing, robotics, bioinformatics, quantum computing, DNA editing, and even brain-computer interface. These technologies have dual civilian and military applications. Coincidentally, the character of war is also experiencing some changes, particularly in the operating environment with new technologies being incorporated in it. The U.S. Army's Training and Doctrine Command has offered the multi-domain battle concept, which captures these changes well. Before, the battle space was understood and organized in time, geographic, space, and by warfighting domain. So, for example, land, air, sea, space, and cyber. Time was understood to be a period in which the conflict started and ended. And geography had its own unique problem sets and were to be addressed within the particular area of that geography. In this sense, a domain was contested in a certain geographic space during a certain period of time. Now, all domains are contested all the time. Geographic space is truly no longer one geography at a time fight. The battle space has expanded, and there is more data than before, and less time to understand, process, and fuse it into actionable intelligence. The effects of cyberspace, electromagnetic warfare, and information increase the role that superpowered individuals and groups can play. In addition, we have more proxies. We have surrogates. All of this adds to the actor complexity. But I would argue that potentially the greatest complexity is that conflict is now occurring almost exclusively below the threshold of war. So where do disruptive technologies fit in? The Internet of Things is not just for our smart homes, our smart farms, and our smart cities. It is also for the military. With increasing military Internet of Things inside an ecosystem, we have unmanned autonomous aerial and underwater vehicles becoming part of the connected family, sensors also feeding in data, automated systems communicating with other machines and making decisions, and artificial intelligence providing decision support to commanders and soldiers alike, which, by the way, make no mistake, the more that we rely on artificial intelligence to support our decisions, the more it will become a decision support infrastructure. And we're going to have to be very careful that it is not hacked or compromised, whether it be the data or the machine learning environment. The nucleus of all of these moving parts will be in the combat cloud. So what about AI and robotics? Lately, there's been a lot of interest in lethal autonomous weapons systems and sensationalist speculation of its widespread use and the dangers of uncontrollable AI. While there has been an increase in new technologies and we are already operating at a higher tempo, this does not mean that commanders have increased their risk appetite in the battle space to use unpredictable weapons. And this is because the bottom line hasn't changed. Commanders are still responsible for mission success. This is something that gets lost in the sensationalist conversation. Depending on the circumstance, robotic autonomy may not be the preferred choice, as it would be ineffective to use unmanned autonomous systems too far away from friendly force protection and communication because they can be jammed or rendered useless through the use of electronic warfare. This goes back to mission assurance and achieving the effects the commander wants. Sometimes the desired effect can be achieved with someone walking into a building and plugging a USB in a system. No need for AI drones. However, autonomous systems that operate in cyberspace may pose a greater concern when unintended second and third order effects take place at the speed of cyber. The employment of these technologies will depend on a commander's trust in the system to reliably operate as expected. For now, this remains an elusive, exotic type of weapon. And the final message I would like to leave you with is that the technological advances are happening at an exponential rate. And we talk about experts, and I wonder how you can be an expert when everything changes every week. So I can say that I am an expert at trying to manage all that new information every single week. So there are ways in which we know that technologies are going to be employed. But there are also unpredictable, creative ways in which these technologies are going to converge together that we do not know yet. So I believe that the best way to address these challenges is to practice feeling comfortable with the unknown or just uncomfortable all the time.